One of the biggest things about CES is that gaming and technology really goes hand in hand. And that is why I kind of wanted to give just an overview of this showcase because if you don't know, several gaming related products was announced at this showcase. And one of the biggest things, while I fight with my mic. Okay. Yeah, I think that's good. All right. One of the biggest things that I've seen is that there's this thing called, and we're just gonna get right into it. It's the MSI Claw, right? There's this thing called the MSI Claw, and the reason why this is a big deal is because, let's see if I can let y'all see what this looks like. If you want to see it, if you want to see the video along with my audio, go to Analytic Dreamz video on Spotify, and you should be able to see it right now. So it looks like this, and apparently this is supposed to be like the competitor to Switch. It's more of like a AMD handheld gaming device, if that makes sense. No. It's Intel hardware as opposed to AMD. And basically, as a competitor in the handheld space because of his superior power capabilities and his what's the right word? Basically, its parts is more powerful than the competition. I mean, obviously, if you look at the Switch compared to this, the Switch is like basically a legacy console at this point. Like, I don't even understand what Nintendo is doing, as they had such a great idea with the Switch, but their hesitancy to upgrade the Switch in a way that's substantial led to this. So now that we have the Claw, it's definitely a way more enhanced and more powerful version than the Switch. And it's just certain improvements that makes it to where Switch is going to have to expedite the process of putting out the Switch 2. And from what I've heard, what I've researched, it's basically subtle improvements of the Switch. And the Switch 2 to be a subtle improvement of the Switch is after all these years, because the gap between the Switch and the Switch 2 should make it to where the Switch 2 is a night and day improvement. But for specs that have already went out to developers, because if you don't know, gaming developers get test builds of these new consoles coming out simply so they can make their games compatible with it for when it comes out. Because if you make a console and nobody wants to put their games out on your console, well, then you end up like all of the other failing consoles in the past decade. But the biggest thing I see when it comes to the Claw is just that it has certain improvements and it's a Windows handheld, and basically it's like a polished Steam Deck. If you don't know what Steam Deck is, you're basically looking at it. It's something that you can play outside of your console, but not like on a TV or a monitor, if that makes sense. Like, it's a handheld device to where you can bring to your bedroom if you want to play a game, or if you want to play the game while somebody else is watching TV or on your monitor. So that's really the biggest appeal I've seen for these handheld devices. And I think that's the reason why they are starting to put more competitive handheld devices out there, because obviously the Switch is not getting it done. So some of the other things when it comes to just gaming related products announced at CES, which if you don't know, CES, let's see, hold on 1 second. So it's the Consumer Electronics Show. Let me see if I can find this right quick. Yeah, Consumer Electronics Show. That's what it is. And it showcases new products and technology. And it basically gives you kind of a synopsis of all the new and improved technology that's coming to consumers in the near future. So that's the biggest thing you basically need to know about CES. And that is why I'm covering it, because as a gaming cover or reviewer, it's very important that you keep up with the latest technology advancements so you know what's coming down the pipeline. So one of the other things that was announced at CES was the ASUS ROG. I don't even know if I'm saying it right. basically it's a monitor, right? And this monitor is more of a competitor to the Alienware type products and gaming monitors out there. So for those who care about 4K, and I've just figured out that like a native 4K and then some other 4Ks are not the same 4K, which in my opinion, I'm like, why even put 4K? And then people be like, well, it's a branding type thing. And then my question is, how is that, like, who certifies what's 4K and what's not? And if you can put 4K on something, but it's not actually 4K, like it's be like natively, if it's not native 4K, then it's not, I don't know. It's super confusing. I already need to know is that at this juncture, they basically promoted this 32-inch display, saying it's going to be one of the more competitive gaming monitors out there on the market, which is, I'm just going to spell it out because I'm probably butchering it, but it's the ASUS, which is ASUS-ROG. So the ASUS ROG. Swift OLED. It's super, super, like, what is a PG32 UCDP? Like, what is that? That's nerd. Hey, that's nerd talk. If you know that by heart, you a nerd, and it's okay with being a nerd. It's just I gotta let you know what you are. You know what I'm saying? So, anyways, other things was announced like the Asus ZenBook. Asus really came out from what it seems like and really showcased a lot of products, which was getting the eyes and attention from a lot of gamers and just technologically advanced consumers in general. So a lot of people really don't care for the CES announcements and things of that nature, but I think it's very interesting in the fact that it kind of gives you just more knowledge in the marketplace and just showcasing things that's going to be the competitors and maybe the flagship type or the pioneers when it comes to certain advancements in their certain field. Because obviously they start off as concept. They start off as concepts, and even then they could be shown off as just test only models. But then it comes to the actual forefront, and then you realize that one of the more pioneer technologically advancements in the industry was shown off like 2 years ago at CES. So then it starts to make you pay attention more to the show in general, because you realize that these are really important showcases to show what people are working on. And so there's a lot of things you can see. Like if you're a gamer, all you need to know is that you'll probably see some of the best monitors. I mean, I think I saw a monitor in the middle of a wheel. Like it looked like a hamster wheel, but it was like human sized, and there was like a monitor in the middle of it. And apparently it was like a driving type simulator. So you could like drive, and it was, I don't know if it was PlayStation, it was one of them. But basically you can hop into the wheel and they could simulate you driving. No, you would be playing a driving game, but it would have you in a setting to where it felt like you was actually in a car. Hopefully that makes sense. Anyways, let me see. There was something else that I wanted to get into. It wasn't too much I wanted to talk about with the show, because at the end of the day, it's CES. So these are a lot of things that's shown off as it's like not out yet, but it's just showing you what's to come. So it's not really too much to get into. But the biggest thing I wanted to touch on was definitely the Claw, which is a handheld PC gaming device, and basically it's going to compete with the likes of a Switch, because even though it can't get Nintendo-like games on its platform, obviously there's ways to get around that. I'm not going to tell you how to, because that's illegal, but it's still a competitor in the field of handheld devices. And Switch, obviously, I think right now is dominating that field. So, let's see what else. That's basically it. Obviously, there's some VR stuff shown, but I still think we have ways to go before we get an actual VR or AR device that's actually usable in society without being trash. So with that being said, like I said, not too much to get into, just wanted to touch on that a little bit just to let y'all know that the gaming showcase did happen, and it was pretty good. It showed a lot of different things for people who are into that type of stuff. So wanted to cover that for y'all. So anyways, click my link tree in my bio. Let me know on one of my social medias, what do you think about the CES 2024 showcase? And out of all the gaming related products, which one piqued your interest the most?